Welcome to Richmond Events Podcast, Leaders in the Industry, where we sit together with top-notch leaders discussing important topics in the HR, IT, marketing, finance, and healthcare industry. Today's topic will be mainly about sustaining sustainable investments. For this, we have invited Reto Ringger from Globalance Bank to talk about what it takes to be a leader in the industry. Sit back and enjoy. To give you just a little introduction about his biography, welcome. Reto Ringger is a pioneer and entrepreneur bridging financial markets and sustainability. Especially in 2011, he founded Globalance Bank, an owner-run Swiss private bank specialized in sustainable investments, which he still leads today as CEO. He founded before SAM Group in 1995, which became one of the world's leading providers of sustainable investments. From 2012 to 2018, he was member of the Club of Rome Executive Community and chairman of the WWF Switzerland Board of Trustees from 12 to 16. In 2019, he was awarded an honorary doctorate for innovation in the field of sustainable investments by the International University in Geneva. You see a long story, and it's great to have you here, Mr. Ringger, and let's start. Welcome again, and let's start with the first question. How did you enter the financial industry, and what continuously inspires you to keep working in this field?
How did I enter financial industry? I graduated here in Zurich at the university, was not really sure what to do, so I went to a bank. I worked for UBS at that time. And there I worked as an assistant to an equity trader. And in those days, it was still at the floor. So there was no digital trading. So that was extremely interesting for me. So I was inspired by the markets. Later, I worked in investment banking for Swiss Re and Vontobel. So that triggered my interest in financial markets. At the same time, I had a strong interest in sustainability, and I wanted to combine those two areas, but there was no bank that did offer that. So I wrote a business plan for a company called Sustainable Asset Management. And we started in 95, which obviously was way too early. I mean, there was not really a strong interest from the market there, but we were the only show in town, and there were some early movers in that area. So, that's how we started. And what keeps me or what inspires me still is the combination of sustainability and return investments, creating a value for investors. And that's still a challenge. It's becoming even more a challenge with all the different dynamics in the market. And what really inspires me is also the engagement, the discussion with clients on those topics, because that's really every day a new dimension, and that really inspires me to go to the office every morning.
Okay, let's keep the theme sustainable investments. You see changes, and what do you see in the future for changes in sustainable investments?
I think, when we started in 95, that was really some 27 years ago, or a generation. So within a generation, there was not, much development, I would say. So the really interest came 4 or 5 years ago. And I describe actually the situation in the market with the concept from psychology called the 4 rooms of change. And the 4 rooms describes, what rooms do you have to pass if you have to solve a problem? So the first room is the room of happiness. Everything is perfect. The second room is the room of denial, when you deny the problem. And then the problem materializes and you come into the room of confusion, because now you really face the problem, and only then you have to go through the fourth room, which is the room of solution. And I think in the markets, we're right now in the room of confusion. So we have a lot of different stakeholders participating in the debate: the regulator, the clients, the raters, the suppliers, and everybody has a different idea how to combine sustainability and financial markets. So I see we will spend some time also in this room of confusion. But what is interesting also, what will influence the further development is really two dimensions. One is innovation. I see a lot of innovation coming with new products, new methodologies, new technologies, and data. So there are much more data than in the past on how sustainable is a company, how does it coincide with return, with risk. And so that's a new dimension where I see a lot of interesting developments.
If you also look to the future, do you think that there are some other projects which you have in mind in combination of data, sustainable investing, or something others related to the financial industry?
Yeah, I mean, we always have a couple of ideas what could be interesting in this phase of the market. And so what we currently are working on is a fintech that creates transparency on portfolios, because investors don't have transparency on portfolios when it comes to sustainability. So they don't know exactly, what is my impact, how good is my portfolio positioned with the climate or other environmental issues. And then we would like to create more transparency here for investors. Because for investors, it's very difficult to compare, let's say, 3 or 4 banks. So if you're an institutional investor and you have 3 banks managing your pension fund, then they have very, very different sustainability methodologies. So it's not comparable. And actually, we think that's a big market opportunity, and are focusing on bringing up a fintech that would help to bring more transparency in the market.
Okay. Another question, as we talk with top leaders in the industry, what makes a good leader in your eyes?
I think a good leader, that's more of an art than a science. So there are different ways how you get to Rome. But I think a very, very important component is the ability to inspire others. And others, obviously, that's your employees, but that's also your clients. That's also your shareholders, because as a leader, you have to attract strong people. And I think the ability to inspire others is a very important one. I think another important element is really to swim against the tide, really to have the courage and the staying power to go through times where, the others think that's not a good idea. But that's very important for a leader sometimes. And I think especially right now, where we have so much confusion, that you really have an idea and try to keep that way. The doing is also important. So you need to be a doer, not only have a good idea, but really make things happen, bring it down to the execution. And maybe a last one is to have the ability to ask the right questions. So you should be a listener, and not only a guy that is talking, but really ask the right question and listen to your people.
Okay, thank you for that. If we look around 1 month to go to Bad Ragaz, especially also to your topic, what tips could you give us regarding investing, especially sustainable investing, and what should we look out for?
I think what is very important is that you have a close look at the supplier of the products. What is his track record? What is the honesty of his approach? What is the transparency of the company vis-a-vis their sustainable investing? So basically, how serious are they about this? Because that helps you then to risk or to minimize the risk of greenwashing.
Okay. Greenwashing is also a big theme, actually. And just to give us a little teaser, to your topic at the Richmond PIMS Forum. How sustainable are sustainable investments? What do you think about that?
I think that's really a great question because, there is not a clear answer on that from the market today. So I would like to give you some insight into that question. We're in the room of confusion. So I would like to give some help out, give some perspective. And I also would like to inspire the audience and give a positive outlook.
That's great. Thank you, Reto Ringger, for that interesting answers. And we are really looking for Richmond events in Bad Ragaz at the PIMS Forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Looking forward to them.